And now it's like, I mean, God, how can they look Patrick Mahomes in the face if they don't make an effort to try to keep him? I think this has become a very difficult one for them.
So let us talk about the free agency that is right around the corner. Today is the first day of franchise tags. Bears don't have to deal with any of that. Everyone seems to think that Trey Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs is going to hit the open market. But if Travis Kelce retires, that gives them wiggle room. Do you believe he's played his last snap in KC, and do you believe the Bears are the front runner?
So I would have said absolutely he's played his last snap in Kansas City until I saw what I saw on Super Bowl Sunday and what we all saw on Super Bowl Sunday. And, I mean, I think the hard thing now becomes what exactly do you do if you're them, where it's like it's not, I mean, if we're calling it like we see it, it's not like it was, a couple of years ago or 4 years ago when they lost in the Super Bowl to the Bucks and the line had completely aged out. Like, this isn't that. But, like they certainly have some work to do, and they've got an all-pro level player on their roster in Trey Smith. So, I this is the type of guy that, like, maybe until 2 weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, it's really tough to let him go because he's a great player. But you already paid Creed Humphrey. You got to take care of your tackle situation. You're paying Juwan Taylor $20 million right now. This is probably one where it's like the tough decision, but you let him go. And now it's like, I mean, God, how can they look Patrick Mahomes in the face if they don't make an effort to try to keep him? So I think this has become a very difficult one for them. And we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, I think he probably will make it to the open market because, I mean, look, if you're Trey Smith, you look at it and you say you paid Creed Humphrey, and you didn't pay me, and I took on an extra year of injury risk. So why in the world wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I hit the market and see what I'm worth? But obviously, I think it is a tricky situation, trickier than it was a couple of weeks ago.
Albert, just from your experience being around NFL players, do they feel like, boy, they wish they had the freedom of movement like NBA players? Like, to hear Myles Garrett say what he said or Tyreek Hill piecing out on the Dolphins, I'm sure that they would love to be able to just, like Jimmy Butler or others, just say, you know what, I just don't want to be here anymore. I wonder, what's that feeling on that regard? Because NFL players don't do what NBA guys do.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely we've had these discussions a lot over the years, and they just don't have the leverage that NBA players do. And so, the one thing that obviously restricts movement the most is the franchise tag. But, I think the way the union sort of handled this over the years is that the franchise tag is going to affect how many guys every year, like maybe 5, and this year it might affect like 1 or 2. Whereas the like things like minimum salaries and RFA tenders and all of that stuff affects hundreds of players, So, I'll be honest with you. If I was the union right now and they were talking to me about 18 games, yeah, I'd want them to change the rules on franchise tags, but it might be more important to me to get guys to free agency faster, right? So just more guys get paid faster, like make it so your non-first-round picks are on 3-year contracts and they can become unrestricted free agents. I think that's sort of the issue. I mean, yes, of course, there's the restraints aren't ideal, but the NBA players have restraints on them too. They've got max contracts, which the concept of those isn't unlike the idea of franchise tags anyway. So, yeah, I mean, it's, again, like I just think it's sort of a matter of leverage and how that stuff plays out. And, the reality is like that the huge number of NFL players, the huge number of guys whose careers are very, very short, really limits the amount of leverage that they have in negotiating these things.
So can you explain, like, franchise tag, there's no way the Chiefs are going to do that with him because they can't have a $25 million hit on their books right now.
Number. That's the problem, Cap, is a tackle number. It's sort of a quirk to the franchise tag where, like, so for example, safeties, right? So safeties aren't classified. Safeties are classified as safeties. They're not classified as defensive backs. So that number stays relatively low because they make less than corners, right?
Right.
I like tight ends. There's some tight ends that you could argue are a lot like receivers, but they're classified as tight ends, so that number is lower. Unfortunately for the teams, like that goes the other way too. Where like an off-ball linebacker isn't worth $25 million a year, but that number's creeping up there because pass rushers are included in that number, right? And same thing with the offensive linemen. It's like that the offensive linemen being classified as a group means like what Trey Smith's number is going to be based on what a tackle makes, not what a guard makes. And that's why historically guards and centers have been able to make it to the market.
So what does a transition mean when, like, who did we have, Hoodie? Was it Kyle Fuller that got tagged?
Yeah.
But he ended up coming back. Mm-hmm. What is the difference, and why would a team not use that?
So the reason a team wouldn't use it is because they're not comfortable with the number. So whatever the number is, remember this part of it. Whatever the number is, the player can just decide, I'm going to sign it. And once he signs it, that's it. You're locked in at that number. And if you're uncomfortable paying that player that number, then you're not going to transition tag them. Now, the difference between the transition tag and the franchise tag for compensation on the other end of it is that you do have matching rights if you're the original team, but you won't get picks back. So if you franchise somebody and they get signed to an offer sheet and you decide not to match, you get 2 first-round picks back. If you transition tag a guy and you let him go, you don't get anything back. So you just have the matching rights. You have a lower number than the franchise number, but you don't get any compensation back if they sign somewhere else and you decide not to match.
Hey man, stay off the slopes today. Just stay by the fire.
Can you guys hear how cold I am?
Yes.
Yes.
I may be sacrificing 4 fingers to the show right now because I have one glove. I don't have gloves on right now, which is like making the problem worse. And I have to have one hand out of my pocket at all times. So I'll let you guys know if I lose a pinky because of the show today.
Send us the bill.
I'm about to walk in the lodge, which is great. So
have a great day. Bloody Mary will warm you up.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Albert Breer.
He's cold.
It's a good man for being with us.
Have you ever been skiing in your life?
Cap. Really? I mean, what are you doing?
I'm just checking.
Did you just black out and not know who you're working with?
Well, many years ago.
Look at me.
Yes.
On skis.
But maybe when you were in your 20s. You were a little guy back then. Tall.
Cap, it's a white people sport. I can say that. I'm going to Park City in a few weeks. I'm going skiing in Utah. I'm excited. It's a white people sport.
I am not a skier, man. Not this guy. Have fun. Enjoy. Literally, if you said I can go on vacation and go skiing at the most opulent, awesome, decadent place, all expenses paid, I'd rather work.
Now,
give me Mexico.
Well, okay, well that's fine. Now you asked me, have I ever been skiing before? Well, there's me and Peacock and our friends. We do go on a ski trip.
I thought with Wiley or Maceo, you guys went.
Yes.
I knew I wasn't stupid. I remember that.
In Michigan, we have been to ski trips, but it is in quotes. The ski trip is for us to sit around the fire and drink. That's the ski trip we have. And go bowling.
You're in the outdoor hot tub with beers and tequila.
That's right. That's a ski trip.
You're not on the mountain.
For years, it was around the Dr. King holiday shade.
That's like my mom goes on the ski trips with us, does not ski, has no interest in skiing. She goes to the spa and hangs out. And we go on the mountain. She's on the ski trip.
Yes.
It becomes a drinking expedition.
Exactly.
Exactly right. So, no, I've been to many ski trips. Absolutely. And mostly in Michigan. But actually getting on the slopes and doing that? No. That's what drinking's for, Cap. That's why you do drunk bowling.
Well, I didn't know maybe back when you were 22, maybe you went skiing.
Cap, 22.
Mm-hmm.
I had no money. I was 3 years into the business.
This is true.
I was making $78 a week. Wow. Under Diamond Broadcasting.
Damn.
Wait.
No ski trips for you.
Well, how would a brother be able to afford that on $78 a week? backup producing, phone jockey.
Wow.
Two Americas, brother. He thinks that I was out there just on the slopes, just doing the thing. Doing the thing. That's what I was doing, Cap, at age 22. I couldn't I was getting money out of taking it to like the Coinstar. Do you even know what that is? Where you take your money in and put your money into the machine so you can get money out of it, saving coins. You know what that is? The Coinstar? It's at the Jewels. Big green thing where you just take every coin that you have in your Crown Royal bag, put it in there just for money.
They also have them in CVS.
Yeah, I used to walk out of Kmart feeling rich. Like, steak dinner tonight, honey. We cashed in all the coins.
I didn't have money.
I made $4,250 a year as a Division I assistant. I was right there with you, brother. But it doesn't mean that maybe a lovely young lady that you were dating at the time, pre-Peacock, said, Johnny, I'm taking us on a ski trip. We'll hit the slopes. We'll take a hot tub together. We'll have some brandy by the fire. And we'll see where the night takes us.
Of course, that would require gas to get there.
She's got you covered.
I don't think so. Tough times back then, Cap.
Wow.
We've got some breaking news with the Chicago Cubs. If you missed it, Cap will recap for you coming up next.